What's up, y'all? I got the new Peter McKinnon bag. We're gonna review it right now. What is up, y'all? It is the Peter McKinnon Nomatic camera, travel, the whole 9 yards. This thing is juicy, y'all. It came out of nowhere. I didn't know anything about it. All of a sudden, I was just getting texted by a bunch of people like, holy shit, did you see what Peter McKinnon just did with Nomatic? And this bag is very interesting to me because I haven't typically been the biggest fan of Nomatic bags personally, because they have like kind of a hard case, like a jetpack look a lot of the time. So their travel bag is something I have highly reviewed because I think a lot of people love that bag and will love that bag. And there's some kind of ingenious stuff going on. But it's clear that the Nomatic people are obviously wizards. Okay? They're good at this stuff. They have clear intention. Even though I might not like some of the harder scape bags, they clearly have some fucking serious intention to design such unique and such unique bags that have such a strong voice. Do you know what I'm saying? So when I saw the video and I saw this thing, I was like, what's it gonna be like? Because it was like, it's kind of softer. It's not exactly the same kind of, it still has that rigidity, right? But I was so curious, what is it gonna be like? And of course they had this sensational little idea. Where are my zippers here? Big, huge, chunky YKK number 10 zips with an AquaGuard sealed zipper on this main compartment here. The funky little idea that they have that's actually kind of brilliant is, what if we had a camera case or a camera cube like this that had not only space for your camera, but then a pack-awayable day bag. So when you get there, you don't have to lug this whole thing around. You can carry your gear out there, and then you can carry some clothing. Then you've got this. You had that built in, but now it's gone. You've got this thing built in so that when you get there, you've got a nice little day bag, which actually is kind of dope because you've got this nice protection down here. This is really thin. It doesn't look like there's a lot of valuables in this thing. This is a great thing to take around for the day in Paris. Put some wine in here, wrap some baguette in like an old, the cloth napkin with some butter and shit, walk around, and you've got all your tech gear, which I have it all in here. Okay, and here's just like my ceremonial sack and my snack sack. Both of them are ceremonial. But when I got to my destination and I was going to, go out for the day, I would pack my camera away in here. My camera's filming me right now. Hi, Mom. And this little thing is actually, it's a sensational idea. So let's talk, let's get down to some brass tacks. And yes, just to get straight to the point, it's an actually really, really well-made, well-designed bag. Perfect for videographers, camera people like that. The accessories, which I've got a handful of, I'll show you here, are excellent. It's made well. There's a lot to talk about on this bag. But first of all, who is fucking Peter McKinnon? Who is this guy? I remember getting some comments back in the day, like marking the similarities, I think because we both have, bird-like nose and generally an unkempt aesthetic. But my God, I didn't know anything about this guy till I saw this thing. And I've probably watched like hours and hours and hours of his channel at this point. He makes some of the most gorgeous YouTube videos I've ever seen. And they're fun. They're really positive. They're like youth groupie. It's like YouTube's like camp counselor stuff. Like YouTubers like are camp counselors a lot of time. Unless you get like those dour nerds who are like, oh, you think those are actually pretty good headphones? Well, obviously you haven't read this thread over at Reddit and Hi-Fi. Here's the deal about those. Not good. Muddy bass. Peter McKinnon's the opposite of that. He's like, come with me. Come on, let's go do this. Let's go. We're going together. We're going to be together forever. And I love it, man. I'm trying to embody that myself as a person who's struggled with depression a lot and someone who has children. And I've been fighting that fight for a long time, man. A long time. And it looks like Peter has too. And it's fun to watch him. So, you know, his name is all over this stuff. I feel like watching his YouTube channel, I just wanted to get to know him more. Like, I just really want to like, everybody who watches his YouTube channel, we're just wanting to hang out with him. That's what his YouTube channel is. He's like, here's the deal. I'm going to be the guy you want to hang out with, and you don't get to. But you get to watch films about hanging out with me, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm satisfied with that. But here he is. Right? Here's Peter. Here's Peter. He designed this bag with Nomatic in some important ways. I don't know how the process worked out. I'm designing a bag with Packed, a travel bag that's not for tech gear like this necessarily. It's more of like a softer, better to use for bigger luggage hauls. Do you know what I mean? When you're really going over and you want to just have your backpack and you don't want to, this is made for having all of your production rig with you. I can fit my whole studio in here minus the lights. So we all want to get to know Peter more and, you know, all the other YouTubers. Well, here's his name all over this thing. Here's this bag. Let's get into what this is like, because he just happened to partner with a company of wizards, partnering with some good old-fashioned young American entrepreneurship to bring a bag to market. Like, the Nomatic guys know how to bring something to market at this point. And here is the bag that they bring to market right in time for the fact that every young kid wants to be a YouTuber when they grow up. So let's see what they put together for us videographers, camera people, tech folks. If you didn't take a picture of it, did it really happen? The bear shits in the woods. Can you smell it? No, that's not the one. But first, let's go ride the skateboard. All right, let's talk about comfort. Is it actually comfortable? And I just packed it out with my entire studio rig, basically, everything that I would need, much more than I would take on a typical, like, you know, little day vlog thing. And it's heavy, it's really heavy, the stuff in there. But it carried it really well. The padding on the shoulders are really thick. And the hip straps work well. Why? Because it has that rigid back panel, that frame in the back, that helps distribute the weight between the shoulders and the hips. Thanks, Nomatic. Obligatory electric skateboard shot. If you're a vlogger, you basically have to. It's a contract with YouTube. Anyways, done. What, you think Casey Neistat's the only guy who gets to wear glasses? Okay, let's talk about protection. See how I'm roughing it up on this thing? I want to see what the results are over here, okay? You can see this wear right here. It really will wear down. Look, I've got some metal abrasion right here. But here's the thing, it was made for that, okay? So you're gonna lose that sheen, and then I think it might survive pretty damn well. This material, the feel of it and the burl of it is kind of great. And by burl, I meant like burliness. There isn't a burl, it's totally smooth. And then I'm down here at the beach, right? We're thinking about sand and we're thinking about water when we think about our gear like this, specifically water. Everything's water sealed with the YKK zips. The material itself is totally waterproof. Then you've got the AquaGuard seal on these zips. So you're good from water, as good as you can be. They probably even have like a full-on condom for this thing that you can wrap it in. Then sand-wise, because everything's got that AquaGuard seal, it's kind of nice keeping the dirt out. Because the thing is, you are going to be putting this thing on the ground like this every time you get into it. So every time you get into this thing, you're putting it on its front, its belly, its face, and then opening it up here, and you're getting into your gear, right? That's if you're taking out your camera and if you're pulling out the Jiffy Pod or whatever the fuck that is, if you're doing some work, right? Gorilla Pod. Gorilla Pod. So my take on the protection is that it's actually really, really nice. Listen, I've used a lot of camera bags. I've used a lot of different kinds of bags. This protection is a nice mix of soft-sided, soft case, but really it's all protected and it's like, because here's the deal, it's not soft-sided. It's very rigid. It's very like stiff in its own way, but it doesn't have metal stays that pop this out. You've got that that rigid material on all of this stuff. I'm trying to make this video so slick, like Peter's videos. I'm failing miserably. Oh well, can't polish a turd, can't fake who you are. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken, right? So you've got these huge camera inserts here. We gotta talk about these camera inserts. Here's the deal. This is actually stellar. These camera padded separator things, these are dope. I actually censored myself there. Let's look at one of these in particular. Okay, you've got this injection molded type thing on the back, even with, like, I don't know if you can see this, but it's got a little skull and cross swords here. Nice little details on this bag, you guys. Nomatic, Peter, whoever's responsible for this, this is quite sick. The Velcro's dope. You've got things that come off the edges here and you can fold those away so you don't see them. You can also like do little corner bits like that. I always have one of these down, so I'm anchored on the bottom and I'm anchored on the sides with multiple tabs on the sides. This thing is sick, dude. Now listen, I've seen a lot of these camera cube things and they're not always good. These feel legit. They're actually, I mean, the padding takes up a little space in the bag because it's thick, legit padding, but there's so much space in the bag that you're glad for it. Do you understand? Okay, let's talk about capacity. Can you bring enough stuff? I'm gonna close up this back panel. Let's say you're using that all for your tech gear. You don't need to. You could put like your toiletry kit in there. You probably will want to put your toiletry kit in there. Possibly some more clothing, right? So you've got this great protected, you got your gear in there, you got your, I think the way that some people are really gonna wanna travel with this is if you're really a minimal videographer or camera person, you want your gear in here, in this guy. If you can get your camera and all your stuff in here, which I can fit my little mobile rig, the things that I need for actually going on location, right in this. So that stays there. The bummer is, if I'm carrying this big whole thing around, it's cumbersome to get into my camera rig if it's really in there. But when I'm traveling, unless I'm Casey fucking Neistat or something, I'm probably not pulling out the camera when I'm traveling. Actually, at some point you are. Who am I kidding? We're all trying to be Casey Neistat. But if I could get my camera in here and then my DOP kit out here and maybe just a few more other pieces that I don't need on the go with me every time that I go, you know, on location, but I'll need my charger for my camera batteries or some shit like that. That can go in here, right? But the big question is around capacity for clothing. Now, this thing is really designed for just a couple days, okay? Because all your clothing is gonna be right here. I wanna show you something though. There is a zipper that goes all the way around, this big horseshoe on the bottom, which, watch this, blop, blop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. So it gives you a little bit of expansion here. Where does it give you that expansion? On this front panel. So you can see here, this is where they're wanting you to put your clothes. One way that you could do this is just simply have a pouch in here, a good one, maybe one of these. Here's one of their cases, right? And it can fit perfectly inside one of these little slots, let's say, for example. And what if this is all your on-the-go tech items? What if this is like your Bluetooth headphones and shit like that? The bummer with that is, one of the bummers that keeps coming up on bags like this is you constantly are putting the bag down on its face, unzipping it, opening it up, getting in, finding what you need. If you're in another pack, then you're pulling out that pouch, unzipping that, getting your Bluetooth headphones, putting that pouch back in, zipping it all back up, loading the rig back on you, right? And now you've got your Bluetooth headphones to listen to the latest Duncan Trussell episode. Duncan Trussell Family Hour. If you're not listening to that, what are you listening to? So, capacity. Let's talk about what you can fit up here in this main, like, this is your clothing. You want it to be just a little bit. here's the deal. With this bag, what you want is you want to have a trip planned where you're going with a few buddies and say you're all, this is where my fantasy is. You're going on some trip with like a few people who all have YouTube channels or email lists or independent creators. I've been working with independent creators for the last decade, starting up Fizzle and working with thousands of entrepreneurs. It's such a weird word. Entrepreneur. What? Such a weird word. This bag is so entrepreneurial. It really stands to serve a lot of entrepreneurs, especially this new digital age where we're all running around with some image stabilizing camera on an electric skateboard. I should get back on the video. Now, Nomatic have some packing cubes, which if I am imagining correctly here, they're probably perfectly sized for packing away in here. And this is so large. They have some compression going on in these, okay? I love packing cubes for organizing my clothes. Why? Because anytime I need to open my bag, my clothes don't come bundling out and just like exploding out like some frickin' Mary Poppins thing or something like that. So here's your capacity on these packing cubes. You can get quite a bit in, roll it up, get it tight, get your shit tight, and then plop it in there. I gotta put clothes in here, don't I? Okay, we're going with pants, because I got some pants over here. I've been meaning to record a video on some pants. Here's the deal, you're gonna Marie Kondo your way through life and find a way to get these suckers standing on their own. This isn't full Marie style, but you get this thing together like this. Ooh, the Deux. I'm gonna link right now to my favorite Deux pants. They're these chinos that are really stretchy, and I actually prefer them to jeans because they look kind of just classic. That's what I'm wearing right now. That's what I've been skateboarding in this whole damn video. So I got 3 big, beefy kind of pairs of pants in there, and then now let's go ahead and compress it down. Now, if I was Peter McKinnon, I would have slow motion shots of all of this, and I would have thought through the fact that I would be doing this. But this is the Chase Reeves channel. We get wordy. We're just figuring it out. Okay, so we got this here. We got our Nomatic guy here. All right, so you see that? We've got our capacity is basically 3 beefy pairs of pants. Does that make sense? Now, when you're traveling minimally, I mean, and you could fit a little bit more on there, or like a good little dop kit, like a small dop kit on there would be sick. In fact, here's a nice little dop kit from Nomatic. See how it's small and it's thin? It's probably designed just to fit right here in this area. Now, like I was saying before, actually that's pretty good. If you can really just do that one packing cube, and I mean, you could fit 5 t-shirts in there. You could fit, a couple pair of small ex officio undies, and because those are great because you can wash them in the sink, and then like a couple small thin techie shirts, like tech shirts that you can also wash in the sink, and then just roll with the pants that you have. Go with a burly pant like the Boundary Supply Chase pant or something like that. I'll link to all that stuff below. You would be set up really well. You'd need to carry a jacket somehow. Probably depending on where you're going. If you're going to the mountains or something, jackets and hat and some shit like that. So our capacity on this is complicated because you can take more space from your camera gear and devote it to your clothing if you want, right? And it's big for that. But how I've got it set up is this is my entire studio, basically, and then just enough clothes for 2 or 3 days, which I get pretty burly. That's what's so great about like a tech shirt, right? I'll link to some of my favorite tech shirts down below right now, because you can just wash them in the sink. They hang dry, solid color. You don't have to worry about anything. And when I'm saying tech shirt, I mean like it's a technical material. It's not just cotton. I love these shirts from, what is it, Buck Mason, but they're not great for traveling. They're bulky when you pack, and then they get real stanky. But what's cool about this is this bag enables a kind of travel with your buddies, for example, where you're like, we're gonna go out and we're just gonna film stuff. We're gonna have all our gear, we're gonna go do it. This is what so many Peter McKinnon videos are about. And I'm just like, dude, I need to get some friends. I have friends, goddammit. I don't have to travel to go hang out with them, but there are those friends that you do get to go on trips with. This is an awesome bag for that if you're the camera person, right? Where you're gonna bring your, what are you gonna do? You're gonna bring your Blackmagic pocket cinema camera. You're gonna bring like multiple lenses. Thanks. Bring the L series, the ones with the little red thing around it. Get that bokeh. Get that bokeh, bro. Okay, let's talk about access to this bag while you're in transit. Couple things. Number one, you've got a door right here to get into your camera compartment. All right? You can literally get into your camera right there. All right? Literally, as the Irish would say. Literally, you can literally do it. It's good crack. And this is a good door. This is the thing, have you ever seen some of those bags where the door is just sort of bolted on? It doesn't end up working that well. This is a good door, okay? It's actually not going into a camera cube because the camera cube is the whole back compartment, all right? This works really well. Access of your camera is actually dope. Access to the rest of your gear is behind this panel. Okay, so you gotta put it on the ground. You're constantly putting it like this. That's why you can see there's some scuffage going on up here. I've got some scrapes, some little, just from a day of use of just putting it on the sand. I took it all around the rocks and shit like that. You're constantly putting it on this, but this material can absolutely take it. There's some stitching that it'd be a bummer. Once the stitching started to fray, that could look sort of, it could get a little bit ratty, but this material, and the shape of it, you see the way that this is got this nice little silhouette, this all is gonna keep that shape because it's so, there's so many layers of material. There's such a robust sort of structure to these materials. Now, speaking of robust structure, this is your main on-the-go access point. Besides this great water bottle pocket, okay? I can fit my best water bottle in the world, Camelback Shoot, right there into it. Fits great, but I can also fit, here's a little travel, compact tripod thing that I've been using. Shout out to K&F Concept. I'll link to this below. I actually really like using this thing, and I was surprised to see how well I've put it upside down like this, and it fits just damn near perfectly. You've got this mesh right here, which I get a little worried about, but it's a good four-way stretchy mesh. It has almost like a petroleum-based kind of feel to it. I don't know what it's made of, but it's got a silicone-y, stretchy vibe. It's not just see-through material, it's also stretchy. And then you've got these potentially, depending on if you get them or not, these little compression straps that you can lash things down onto your bag with. This was actually really useful. When I was bombing around on my skateboard with this, even with that damn thing hanging off, it's actually not that expensive or heavy, expensive in weight, and it worked pretty damn good. I was like, this is great. The only bummer is you just look like you're like a wannabe Elon Musk out there. So other than that, if you're not using that for a tripod, this is really useful for water bottle or even throwing some other stuff in. Other than that, this is your main, like, on-the-go access. Besides getting into this front panel, you can get into it a bit up at the top. The back, on the other hand, you cannot get into even a bit, okay? Why? Because it goes deep into here, and then you don't get any stretch on this because there's some vertical supports, which I'm gonna show you in a second. So, all your on-the-go stuff is here. Now, here's something that's interesting about this. There's actually, first of all, it's quite deep. I put my glasses in vertically like this, and I can fit just perfect. Thanks, Nomatic. It's actually quite nice. Got a little pen down there. And then, can you see this? There's actually a separator in there. And not only that, but the separator has this little fly the flag with with the little, is it two? It's just one. It's just a little skull guy. Just a nice little detail. They had to put that's like a whole step in production, man. They had to go like, all right, we gotta put the thing on the thing. And I'm glad they did. It was a delightful little discovery right there. But that divider, you hear that? Some magnets, and it's actually put together really, really well. So same depth, same vertical depth that goes all the way down in there on either side of a magnetically closed, like, little divider in there. That's actually really quite sick. Actually, the front one is a little bit smaller than the back one. back one goes down slightly more. But listen, I'm gonna use this opportunity just to say that a lot of the interactions on this bag feel quite nice. This is what I was missing in some of the other Nomatic backpacks, the day bags specifically. I didn't get a sense of like a real like zhuzh to the thing, a sense of tactile satisfaction. And on this one, I am super satisfied. I'm finding that it is a rich experience. It's not just like rich, like money-wise, like you're glad, like it feels good. Okay, let's talk about the organization. You've seen it all now. Let me just go through it quickly. We've got that front access pocket with an internal divider. We've got this front panel here, which is got some serious organization built in. You see this? Undies, 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 undies. And then you've got this strap here, which is meant to be, if you just have your clothes there, you can lock it down. Because obviously when you're packing it, you're gonna have it down like this, and this can be a little compression strap over the top of it. The bummer of that for me is it gets into these things, which I'm likely using these two top ones for on-the-go access. I just need a little bit more than just that front flap, right? Then on this side, another mesh pocket, and then look at this. This is like a great spot to put your shirts, your business shirts, man. You know those button-up shirts that need to be like put in somewhere? You can kind of put them away there, maybe. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. It's kind of nice. But if you're traveling with this bag, maybe you're not traveling with a button-up like that. If you are, it should be a Western Rise. I'll link to it. It's one of their super wrinkle-free, or this one this is my favorite thing in the whole world from Ministry of Supply. I'll link to both of those. My favorite button-ups for travel when you're packing one of them away, because they don't wrinkle up and they're super comfy. Okay, more organization. I'm just including this little expansion, contraction business here. Outside of the bag, water bottle, access to the camera compartment. And then, I haven't even showed you this, but the laptop compartment's back here, okay? Big, burly, protected. It's actually, yeah, and it's suspended off the bottom of the bag, right? Yeah, it is. It's yeah, it's definitely suspended. I like the material choice in here. I like the color. Can you see this like sort of brownish? It's nice microfibery kind of. They chose some damn good materials. This whole back panel, man, this injection molded shit. See the little skull? You see that? Can you see that in the light? I can't tell if you can see that. Can you? They're some fucking wizards, man. They got wizardy. Good work, Nomatic. And then, of course, final organization bit is this guy here, where you can just customize all of this to your heart's content. Zipper, and then tablet sleeve. I actually have my iPad Pro back here with the pencil on. And I'll just walk you through this really, really quick. Like I said, I have my little ceremony pouch in here and then my snacks pouch inside of here. I've got my Omni Charge, which is dope. I can charge anything with this. So when I'm in like shooting mode and going out, and I used to do video production for clients, just been doing it for forever, but never really full time. I was always a web designer and developer and marketing guy. And this thing, though, is like it immediately, if I'm bringing this, that means I'm in studio mode. Same thing with this. Just allows me to be able to plug in a bunch of devices, including some USB-A's and a USB-C. I've got my Gorilla Pod, some lenses, a wide angle from Olympus, my 12 millimeter, which I used to do everything with, and then my 25 millimeter. I'm shooting on a GH4, nice micro four thirds. I've got the Voigtlander 10.5 millimeter lens on there, which is so sick, but it is very unstabilized, and the GH4 doesn't have any stabilization. Rode, this I always throw on when I'm out there in the field. I'm making this up as I go. Like, you understand? Like, I've been playing with cameras since I was a kid, and I've never once. I still don't know if I'm doing it right, but I just try to make it look good. And I certainly get the feel on YouTube now that I've got to upgrade shit. I mean, Peter McKinnon's all shooting on red and stuff like that. Come on, you said we were gonna go together, Peter. You said it was gonna be all of us. But now it's just you and MKBHD and all these red guys. Okay, let's talk about comfort here. How comfortable is this? The truth is, it's actually legit. They did a fucking awesome job. A couple things that are important. Number one, the foam. The thickness of the foam on the shoulder straps and the way the shoulder straps curve like this with these load lifter guys. There's a bunch of different names for these kinds of things, these load lifters, but they pull the strap up. They help pull the front of the bag forward a little bit. This hip strap's removable easily. It's just some Velcro that holds it on back there, but I'm glad it's there. Why? 2 pieces of metal go up through this thing. There's a frame that actually makes it really vertically rigid. Now, why is that good? Because when I throw this thing on, then I get my hip strap on, then I get my sternum strap on. What I got going on is a lot of the weight gets distributed down to my hips, especially if I got that like booty out thing. Get that booty out, right? Get a little bit of booty out. Some of you need to get your booty in, all right? Some out. Who knows the difference? Only you and a smart body worker. Get into rolfing. But because that vertical metal is working on my behalf, it's taking that weight directly down to my hips, all right? And then my shoulder straps are actually just helping me kind of keep it aligned and organized in the direction that I'm going. And that's one thing I noticed skateboarding with this, is it actually felt tight, good, like a rocket pack. It moved with me. It did not feel cumbersome. So my verdict on traveling and carry comfort with this is actually super legit, no bullshit, very comfortable bag to travel with. And that's loaded out with my entire studio in there, right? That's like, that's a tough cookie to crack, crumble, to do. It's a good cookie to eat. That's a strong, it's a piece of Maldon salt, like good Maldon salt on top of a cookie. It's sharp, it's buttery, yum. Did we get it? And now let's talk durability. Is it gonna last? My verdict, my experience with this thing is yes. I mean, I've been actually branded, like, you're gonna get abrasions. Not abrasions, abrasion is the wrong term because it makes it sound like the fabric is broken, but it hasn't. It's just, it looks worn, it looks dusted there, right? There's the metal pieces. These are gonna get super fucked up, pardon my French, just because you're constantly putting it down. If you're really going, this is a bag for grinding, right? You're like, oh, let's go, let's get the shot. You wanna be able to throw that shit down, open this up. I have no problem throwing that down. I mean, my Bluetooth headphones are up there. So that's one of the things that I'd think about. But for the most part, the material is so protective and rigid, and there's enough padding and enough structure in the thing that I'm not worried about it, because all my camera stuff's accessible from here, and it's got all of that material in front of it, right? So I'm throwing this down, I'm opening up, get the shot, blink, 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 blink. Where the straps are connected, I actually feel really good about this. It got nice Hypalon reinforcements. See the load-bearing straps pull, it's just, the material on these straps feels really good. Nice, solid handle in the direction of those Osprey handles, which are really big and beefy, but this is actually a little more tasty than some of those Osprey handles that I've seen. It's good. See how it's always up like that? This thing, your hand gets used to this and you start wanting it. This is such a production rig, dude. This thing, so many production people, if you can get into it, if you only need this much stuff, you're gonna be stoked, because this is great for schlepping around all the gear. By the way, you also have these nice handles up here above the doorway and above the water bottle compartment for gripping and ripping. Let's see if there's one down here. Yep, another one down here. And another place where they did really interesting, like they did a good job on these materials. This is webbing that's sewn around something that has a great, like, it feels nice and like big enough, rigid enough, soft enough, supple enough. Just one of those moments where your hand's gonna tell the difference. I don't know exactly what their price is on this bag, but it is worth from a finger perspective, it's worth it, man. Like, I haven't said that about or Nomatic bags really before in the past, and I am definitely saying that on this one. There's a satisfying tactile quality to this. Let's talk about the accessories really quick. Nothing here happens really quick. I mean, I apologize. It's all taking too long. But let's start with this one, okay? You've got that I haven't showed you inside of this yet. Really, without my stuff in the way. So, like I said, I've got a picture of fitting all my gear in here that I needed for on the run and gun kind of day stuff. You've got a couple little separators. I'm sure you can get more of these sorts of things. Decent amount of space, decent amount of protection, especially this middle spine, this long middle spine here. That thing is really robust and rigid. Then you can see this black mesh. By the way, you can fit I think you could probably fit the hip pack behind here and use this as a fucking awesome old school fanny pack, like one of those old school 70s photographers with the mustaches, just like, gotta get the shot. Now, a couple interesting things on this. First of all, the material they're using, water resistant, got a nice little, again, Peter's just signed his name all over this. It actually looks kind of nice. The logos, man, one of my earliest complaints on Nomatic stuff was they had logos emblazoned everywhere, which is good practice if you're a marketing company. Bad practice if you're trying to stand on the quality of the goods as they are, right? It just feels a little off, and then unless you're doing like a street brand where it's like you're making shit product. But it says Supreme, so it's cool. I don't know if Supreme makes shit product. I just imagine anything that's being made mass is less interesting to me. And this is not made mass. This material is very interesting. We're gonna see more stuff made out of something like this, and I can't quite. It's like, okay, so it's just a nylon with some sort of like a PVC, some sort of coating. Some sort of coating that's very interesting. So over time, this coating may get a little funky, but my feeling on it is, I don't know. I think it's in there pretty damn good. This is a fascinating water-resistant material. Then you have a little zipper in the back here with another little mesh pocket. Okay, so you can put your stuff in, hide it away when you're in day pack mode. Now you do have your big question to ask yourself if you get this kit like this, is are you gonna leave this in packed up mode inside the bag, or are you gonna have this around the house for just grabbing and going with? Is this gonna be a new little kick around bag for you, right? Because it's definitely good at that. You've got these nice, very collapsible straps that are breathable, which is like, hey, you know, given the choice of breathing or not breathing, you know, I choose breathing. And then you got this sweet little kind of like street vibe bag on here, right? Camera and shit's right in there. Feels good. You can fit a sweater, fit some baguettes, bottle of wine, head out to the Eiffel Tower lawn with your loved one or your hope to be loving one. Okay, so this accessory is actually well designed. They didn't sleep on this. I don't know how long this thing's been in production. Probably a long time. It takes a long time to pull something off this good. This is one of my favorite launches of all time. Here's a case, which I'm imagining is for some drone or something like that. I'm not a drone guy. Do drones fit in here? On the top here, you've got some elastic undies stuff, and inside here, you've got some more. What a great little separator. You could do, this is a lot of stuff that can go in here. This could be like a little power kit for all my chargers and batteries and stuff like that I throw in there, and then when I get to where I'm going, I don't need that in this because I'm just running, gunning out and away. I don't need to have my chargers and all that stuff. I can leave that in the bag back at the hotel. But then there's these smaller things, okay? There's a little one for batteries. Another thing, how do they work? Magnets are sick. Signed by Peter McKinnon. SD card guy. This thing's actually pretty great. You've got some SD card slots. I'm totally using this because magnets feel so good in my life. It just feels quality. It feels satisfying. And then there's this guy, which is I think it's designed for ND filters. ND filters. Little filters for your camera, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a good enough filmmaker to know what this is for. I apologize. I have been making this up as I go. So the accessories to me are actually strong, very strong. Great execution, Nomatic. It all feels very good, including like even just like little things. There's little straps that go around it, but this, where the zipper's covered up right here, it's a nice feeling material. And it just cleans up some of where I think some of the attachments are, where the sewing is, where some loose ends are. It's just a nice way of cleaning that up. And these things look really good. Que bueno. Actually, a viewer of the channel was like, hey man, you should say que chingon. Did I say that right? Que chingon. He's like, that's a little more accurate. I'm still in that like learn Spanish the easy way. Que bueno. Okay, so what's my verdict here? First of all, if you have a Peter McKinnon of gear, right? Like a lot of gear, like a red camera and like lenses that have the red thing around it, like the L series lenses from Canon. If you have like nice gear and you're bringing quite a bit of it, this is killer. This has got you covered for lots of gear because this is so much space. It's almost easier to conceive of just going like, I'm bringing all my gear and a couple pairs of underwear. I personally end up focusing on having lighter gear with me. So I'll have a camera cube like this one from Lextray. I'll link to that. And then like a simple bag. I love this Topo Core Pack. I still just love it. Its aesthetic is just so simple and robust at the same time, and it's got plenty of organization, but mostly it's just a big U-shaped hole to fill, right? And so my whole vlogging kit basically fits in there, and then if I have another pouch that has all like the power and all the other stuff. So 2 pouches like that, and I've got my gear. This is my day kit. I like to go small and light. I could honestly fit that in this guy very comfortably. I wouldn't be able to get my laptop in this though, right? So when you're traveling and you're working around from cafes and stuff like that, you're probably, this might be your whole set. I mean, you might be like, I brought the little one, but I need to bring my laptop and some stuff for work. I'm gonna go get some stuff done and yada. So I might as well just bring this whole thing. It can be burly. It can just be burly. You've seen how big it is on, but even in the midst of the burl, right? It gets lighter when you pull some of your shit out that you don't need. Gets heavier when you put your laptop back inside. But even in the midst of the burl, it behaves nicely when it's on your body. The only bummer is you're constantly taking it off, setting it on the floor or on your lap to open it up if you're getting into the camera cube. Everything else is kind of got some nice, it's nice to put it at your feet and get into the front panel, get into the zipper pocket, put it on its side, get into the laptop. It's just getting into that camera case stuff. You're gonna be constantly like, you know, it's on the floor, which many people are used to when they're camera people, right? So many bags actually work that same way. However, if you're not used to that and you're like, I'm getting a camera bag and a travel bag, I wanna be traveling, this might be too much camera for a lot of people who wanna be doing more travel. Does that make sense? And the final piece on the verdict here is just that, like, in my experiments with taking it out and about, it looks like there's really expensive shit inside. You don't want to let this bag out of your sight, right? You want to be close to it, okay guys? Now, I think the price is fair, and I don't even know what the details of the price are. I really don't. I haven't looked. I try not to think too much about that because I know some of you are gonna pay no matter what if you can tell that it's the right thing for you in your life right now. This enables a kind of carry that very, very few bags enable. And it does so in a way that's well executed. Your fingers are gonna like it. Your head's gonna like it. Your life's gonna make sense in this thing a little bit, or at least it has the potential to. You can still pack it very poorly. I know some of you will. But wherever this comes in price-wise, it's Nomatic's statement, right? It's like, hey, this is what, and they've got to make decisions based on the materials they're using. None of this stuff is really cheap stuff. The work to make this binding, this webbing that goes around that has that little, like that's custom. You can do it. It's just another part of the factory process, right? And I think they're making these out in Vietnam. I think so. A lot of good bag makers are in Vietnam right now, which is so sick, man. I got to go see those factories and see those people. It's just beautiful. It's just they're stoked to be making bags, and they're wizards of the sewing machine. And I think it's so sick to support an economy like this. It's wizards and witches, man. They're like soft goods, bag. Like soft goods is the ability to like use a sewing machine to make something like this. Like you can't make a spaceship out of a sewing machine, right? But you can make a bag that you take to Mars, which is Elon, by the way, this is a great option. Elon, by the way, would you just get in touch if you want to know which bags should be going to Mars with the crew? I'll send you a text. But to support an economy of magicians and witches like this is awesome because they're making, like my friend Sarah over at Riot. Look at this thing, RYUT. It's something in user, like revolution in user. Anyways, RIUT. This is a bag that literally collapses into a daily carry bag, like. I can't even do it I need to get the instructions manuals on it. It's actually gorgeous. And it's well designed. It's like it feels like there should be a TED Talk about it, right? Same thing with this. Wizards, witches, magicians, making good shit. Boundary Supply. Have you seen some of Boundary Supply's stuff? It's so sick. Peak Designs. We're so lucky to live in an age where there's so many artisans being able to make product and then being able to put together a website, a social campaign, a Kickstarter that drums up enough support for them to make the production runs without having to hire a bunch of money from outside sources and then be, on the hook to pay all that shit back. They're coming straight to us. We're funding them. It's really sick. I mean, it's fun to support that economy for me. That said, I think this comes in like, if you're doing the full kit, I think it's like, it's over $400. I think it's closer to 500 something bucks. And then there's smaller versions of that kit. And that's on the Kickstarter. So I don't know. I feel great about that. I do, because you're going to, if this is the right thing for you. If you're just interested in another bag, it's like, that sounds expensive, right? Because but if you've been waiting for something that's going to be the perfect camera bag for you, that's why I like taking a lot of time going through a product like this, because it costs quite a bit of money. But if it enables a lifestyle, a way of carry, a mode of life for you that allows you to do that fucking shit out in the world, boom, get it on the thing. That's me filming if I had a real camera set up, or it's me doing like camera things like close up, zoom ins. And there's a lot of you out there, man. There's a lot of you out there. Shout out. Say what's up. If you're a YouTuber out there making your way in the world, holy shit, what are we doing? Somebody help me. Somebody tell me what I do for a living now. I'm going to stop this video there. So many more thoughts. Comparing this to the latest one from Shimoda. I'll link to that Shimoda video, which is awesome. A totally different version. It's more softy, but still has all this customization and adding the ability to carry just as much tech gear. There's just so many more thoughts. Peter McKinnon, come hang out in San Diego. There's that thought. But ultimately, hopefully this answers your question about if you should get this bag or not. And hopefully there was a little bit of entertainment. And hopefully you're like out there living your life, man. Because isn't that the dream? Isn't that what all these YouTubers are talking about? It's just like, hey bro, just like, you know what I mean? You just get out there and you do your best, all right? Doesn't matter if it doesn't work, because hey, this might not work. By the way, here's the thing. We'll end with this. Some of the best advice in the world right now is I think you can find it on Seth Godin's interview with Krista Tippett on Being, right? I'll link to that. Epic. If you haven't listened to Seth Godin on Being, it was amazing. And then he was just on Tim Ferriss, and I didn't listen to that. But Seth Godin's kind of like for the last 10 years of business, if you just paid attention to Seth Godin, I'm saying this knowing full well that I was one of these business gurus with podcasts and blogs and courses making about business. And we had tons of fun doing that and lots of success. We watched lots of businesses get launched. We watched lots of entrepreneurs mature, right? It's been awesome. One of the biggest pieces of advice there is Seth Godin, like years ago, just going like, here's what you got to get used to. This is what you got to get used to. Are you ready for you need to get used to? This might not work. This might not work. That's it. So many of us clam up at the idea of that. We haven't learned how to step into that yet. And once you learn how to step into this might not work, it's exhilarating. It's exhilarating because it's risky, right? But here's the cool thing about risk. It's the same thing that makes marriages work. When you're risking in the direction of something, when you're risking for something, there's a lot of meaning that can be produced from that thing. So this might not work is this doorway that you get to open when you want to step into some potential meaning. And it might not work. So you're not entitled to it succeeding. You're not entitled to it, going viral. You're not entitled to it being profitable. No, you have to work that. You have to make that stuff happen. You have to learn over time. So we got big ears, 2 of them, and just 1 eye right in the middle right here. All right, y'all, talk to you later. Love you. Hang out. Anything I need you to do right now? Oh, dude, we're about to cross 75,000 subs. And we're doing a huge giveaway. Maybe I'll get Nomatic to try to get, Nomatic, that would be sick. But we're doing a huge giveaway. So I'll link right now in the time code in the description below. I have all the links to everything in time code because I'm a nice guy. And I also want you to click those links because that's how I feed my family. I don't get that, Nomatic hasn't paid me for this, right? They sent me the bag. I wasn't obligated to do a video. I'm doing it because I know a lot of us are asking about this. But when you purchase and you use my links, it helps support the channel by basically buying me. It's like buying me a really good beer. So shout out to all you doing that. But get on the email list, which enters you to win in the giveaway, where we're giving away not just one thing, we're giving away thousands of dollars worth of gear. Last time we did that, across 50,000 subs, we gave away thousands of dollars worth of gear. This one's gonna be way bigger, okay? So get on the email list there. Also on Instagram, I'll link to that below, and we'll probably do some of the giveaway stuff there, but I'm stoked to give that away. I'm stoked my channel's it's just growing, and I'm just so excited. I got a new lens. I spent $1,000 on a lens. That's how you know I'm taking this seriously. How are you? I hope you're well. Because I'm over here living in this spacesuit. And you're over there. And you're watching a big-nosed white dude on YouTube talk enthusiastically about a bag. You might have a problem. Or you might just be right where you're supposed to be. See ya, y'all.